Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Comcast public hearing. My name is Tom Golden, City of Lowell City Manager, and the city's statutory cable license issuing authority. I welcome you to the city's public hearing on Comcast's license renewal. The purpose of this hearing is to provide the public an opportunity to comment on the city's and the public's cable-related needs. So whether you're here in person or remotely, please feel free to speak up today. Comments and please participation is welcomed. With me this afternoon is Moran Fernandez, one of our city's outstanding technology officials, as well as CFO Connor Baldwin. Thank you both for being here. Notice of this hearing has been on the city's website and in the local newspaper for 2 successive weeks. A copy of a Comcast license renewal application is on file for the public inspection in the office of the city clerk. By way of background, Comcast license expires on October 10th, 2023. Federal and state law require the holding of a hearing to allow the public to comment on cable needs. Ultimately, the renewal process will result in either a renewal of Comcast's license or denial of that renewal. I will receive comments from the public about what cable-related needs and interests are important to the public, and also how Comcast has performed under its existing license. The city will accept comments about all cable-related matters of interest to the public, including, but not limited to, customer service, license administration, and Comcast's commitment to our important local channels, our community programming, and public and educational and government access. Any questions to Comcast should be directed through me, and I will rule whether they are in order. Please keep your comments to no longer than 4 minutes, if you could. That'd be greatly appreciated. Before hearing from the public, I'd like to find out if anybody from Comcast is here to allow any type of introductory remarks.
There is no one here, and there is no one on Zoom from Comcast.
So once again, at this time, nobody is on Zoom or before us in public. So at this time, I would like to ask Mr. Fernandez to assist me at any point in time, but we will move forward, and the folks that are here today, if anybody would like to step up and start speaking or give us your opinion on what is happening here today. Be greatly appreciated if you could just tell us who you are, name, address, and your thoughts.
If I may, there is a sign-in sheet at the table. Maybe later you could sign in. Thank you.
Yes, I understand. Hi, I'm Belinda Duran, 109 Mansur Street, and I am here just as a Lowell resident. I guess maybe one of the few people representing our 115,000 residents who rely on LTC's relationship with Comcast to learn about our city government. I have the privilege of being able to come to many of the city council meetings in person, but many people cannot, and I know that they rely on LTC through the Comcast stations to be able to understand our city government, and through the broadcast of both the city council and school committee and other government meetings, as well as supporting our community through cultural programming and other services. So I just want to make sure that folks know, as I think everybody does, because it often comes up at city council meetings, how important LTC and its broadcast relationship is to our city. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Duran. Any other comments from the public? Any other comments from the public? Thank you, sir. If you could state your name, please.
Hi there, my name's Danbazarian. I live at 214 6th Avenue in Lowell. I'm the director of programming at LTC. Wanted to keep this brief because I think that the voices of people in the community who make use of these resources are most important. But I do think that my position at LTC has given me sort of a front row seat to precisely how important the resources that this funding goes towards are. I think I started working at LTC slightly before the COVID-19 pandemic hit, and obviously the pandemic really brought to the forefront how important digital equity is and access to these means of communication, not just because hybrid meetings suddenly became a really important part of the way that we all engaged with our local government, and one that increased general public access to government, both learning what was going on and participating in it, and not just because there were rapidly evolving public health guidelines being put out in response to the changing understanding of the pandemic that needed to be communicated both broadly but also in culturally sensitive and in a diversity of languages. And I think that seeing that at LTC was one of the most in a way, it was really, really moving to see people making use of this to communicate this very important information to their language communities and communicate it in a way that they knew people would understand and feel comfortable with, and in a way that a lot of the time some of the broader institutions in our culture weren't able to do. But really, I think we live in a culture and an economy where access to communications technology isn't just a privilege anymore, it's really becoming a necessity. But it's also one of the most cost prohibitive fields. I mean, media production in general, but communication technology, writ large, is one of the more cost prohibitive things to get involved in. I do freelance videography work and that sort of thing outside of my own job, and I was able to do that because going to college and all that stuff, I had access to cameras and switchers, broadcasters, that sort of thing, all the technology, all the bits and pieces that you need to make something like that work. But so many people aren't able to have access to that just because it's so expensive. And I think that having funding like this that is, it makes resources available to the public, really puts something towards addressing the need for greater digital equity and equity in communications and access to the means of communications in our culture writ large. So thank you all.
Thank you very much, Dan. Any other comments from folks? Once again, sir, if you could please come on up and just state your name.
My name's Chris McNeil. I work at LTC as well. Mr. Manager, with your permission, before I speak about myself, I got an email from one of our members that I'd like to be read into the record. I can provide an email copy as well at the conclusion of the meeting if that's...
That's appropriate. Thank you very much, Chris, for asking that.
This is from one of our members named Nancy Pena. Hello, my name is Nancy Pena, and I'm a resident of Lowell. I'm a journalist and have had the privilege to learn about LTC 11 years ago. I'm the director and producer of Colorious Latinos TV. As a journalist and an immigrant, LTC has been the right channel to produce professional content with the aim of educating our communities. CLTV is a monthly and bilingual show that brings educational information to our residents. CLTV has won several awards locally and nationally thanks to the network, learning ideas and skills that LTC provides. I hope to continue working for and supporting LTC, as it's a great platform to keep our residents informed about what is happening in Lowell. Warm regards, Nancy Pena.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. McNeil, and let the record show that that has been read into the record and will be kept. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And then speaking as myself, I think that there's a huge amount of access in public access programming. To touch upon some of the things that my colleague just said, I too found my love of video production through public access. It gives people access to technology and equipment and software that the regular public just doesn't have. In this economy, or even 10 years ago in the economy, it's hard to ask somebody to pony up $750 for a piece of software that they don't even know how to use yet. By having public access stations like LTC out there doing our thing, we give them that foot in the door. We give them that know-how to be able to go off and make their own things and show what's so great about the communities that they reside in, Lowell included. I started with the station working on the public side of things and transitioned over to the municipal side a few years afterwards. And that, I think, I already knew the value of our station and what we do to the community, but, I would say that that's definitely brought it to the fore more by allowing people to see democracy in action live 4 nights a week and, through our on-demand channels. I think that's super valuable. I think it was valuable before the pandemic, but certainly after the pandemic, where people have difficulties being able to come to a physical place, and so we have hybrid meetings in place, and or to simply be able to see it on our TV channel and the website. And so I just think that it's really important for the community that we have our continued funding from Comcast, and I want to thank you guys for allowing us to speak here today. Thank you.
Well, thank you once again, Mr. McNeil, and we appreciate your input. Once again, turning to the community. Sir, once again, if you could just state your name.
My name is Eric Sack. I live at 200 Market Street in Lowell. I'm the president of the board of LTC. I've also been a member since '97, so one of the OGs, as you call it. What LTC, we build community through technology, and we've seen that in the past few years. We've seen it throughout our course of existence. I think we really, our talents and skill sets came into fore during the recent cyber attack here when we lost connectivity back to our home base, where we were able to use existing technology to use bonded cellular to get back and to keep those channels open. We also provide a lot of productions I like to describe as being glaciers. You only see like the last 10, 15%, the people that get on the air. There's a lot of work that goes into building these systems, training people, and our community leverages that technology, either rebuilding themselves, their communities. A lot of people come in barely speaking English. We're able to train them and allow them to build their community from afar, even internationally. We also, a lot of our value comes from vocational training. Media is a field you can learn about in school. You can watch, obviously watch it happen, but it's not until you get your hands on the equipment and you're doing productions and learning about the underlying technology that it comes to the fore. So LTC has provided this for years, and we'd like to continue doing it. I guess we're arguing for the status quo with Comcast, so that's an easy thing, I guess. Yeah, we'd like to continue our positive relationship with the city and work in tandem to get these technologies out to the public. We've had a long track record of moving things forward, initiatives. So, yeah, I'm a big believer in the organization, and I just want to keep doing it. I think we were expecting a much bigger crowd, but a lot of us are back at home base setting up for the Folk Fest. So it's 4 o'clock on a Thursday right before the Folk Fest, but we did feel the need to come down here and speak for the strengths of the organization, what they've done for us and what they've done collectively for us in Lowell. So thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We appreciate you giving back to our community. We know how valuable LTC has been to the city of Lowell, as well as to everyone else that gets an opportunity to see it, even on the web. Once again, looking around to see if there's anybody else who would like to speak. Anyone else would like to speak? Do we have anybody? I want to, at least here, unless somebody else comes in, I'd like to turn, Mr. Fernandez, I'd like to turn to see if there's anybody online in the Zoom that would like to speak.
Pam St. Amand is online. I've asked her to unmute.
So Pam St. Amand, right? Hello. Thank you, Miss St. Amand. If you could just, well, we've already stated your name, but let us know what you're thinking. Excellent. Is there anything that you, hopefully you've been hearing some of the comments here from some of the folks, and if there's anything that you'd like to add?
No, I'm just I'm listening and taking everything down.
I do have an email to be read into the record from the school department.
Once again, Mr. Fernandez will be reading something in from the school department to be read into the record and accepted.
There's an email here from Kevin Wetmore. Kevin is in charge of digital media productions at the Lowell Public Schools. Kevin's email reads, I am reaching out because I am the digital media producer for Lowell Public Schools. I'm responsible for managing Lowell's education channel, Channel 22, as well as the high school's media studio. I also co-teach classes, digital media classes, and work with students in our media production program. Below are some details about how Lowell Public Schools uses and benefits from the city's provision of local programming channels. Lowell High School's Colleen Cregan Media Studio provides a hands-on education space for Lowell Public School students interested in learning television production, filmmaking, animation, podcasting, and much more. Because of the funding we receive, our students have access to state-of-the-art production equipment and are able to graduate with real-world skills and experience. Last year, our student crews produced over 50 hours of television. They work as teams to cover live events such as school concerts and graduation, produce a weekly school news program, and have created films that have been screened and won awards at various film festivals. Many students have graduated and gone on to further study television and film production in college and work professionally in the field. Without our cable contract, Lowell Public Schools would need to absorb the cost of our television channel, and access to technology for our students would be severely cut or cease entirely. For samples of student work, you can visit the school's YouTube page or reach out to me to discuss further. That's from Kevin Wetmore, digital media producer at Lowell Public Schools.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wetmore, and thank you very much, Mr. Fernandez, for reading that into the record. That has been accepted into the record. Once again, looking out to see if there's anybody else that would like to speak here. Is there anybody else who would like to speak?
I have one procedural.
Mr. August.
If I may. Can you hear me okay? I'm just coming in on Zoom.
Yes, Mr. August, we can hear you.
This is Bill August. I would like to just enter the document as an exhibit into the hearing record. This is from Comcast, dated June 9th, 2023, and it's titled "The Formal Renewal Proposal of Comcast with the City of Lowell, Massachusetts." And it contains background data about Comcast, financial statements, corporate structure, flowcharts, and diagrams, and a lot of profile information on Comcast and the licensed city. And it also includes a Comcast, the first draft of a proposed renewal license under what the cable law calls the formal renewal process. And the city of Lowell, like 90% plus of municipalities, use a draft license developed by the city and based on the existing license. So although Comcast has filed a formal proposal draft license, they're working cooperatively with the city on the city's own version of the license. But there is a document filed by Comcast, and it's a public record, so I'm just noting I'll be adding that to the hearing file as an exhibit.
Thank you, Mr. August. I believe that application that you're talking about is on file for public inspection at the office of the city clerk. Is that correct, sir?
Perfect. That's exactly the way it should be handled. That's excellent.
Excellent. Thank you very much, sir. Any other comments, Mr. August?
Just that even after the hearing is closed, being on the renewal team with the city manager and Moran and Fernandez and Connor, I would just, for the benefit of the public, note that even after the hearing is closed, the manager's door is open for additional comments and letters. We have an open door to hearing from the public about cable needs. So, the door is open to the public at any time to hear more about needs.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. August. I couldn't agree more. So once again, just looking around to see if there's anybody else here that would like to speak. Any other speakers? Any other speakers? Not seeing any of the speakers. Mr. Fernandez.
While my role here is Chief Information Officer in charge of technology and certainly part of the team in the renewal process is rather clear, I also am a resident here in the city of Lowell and feel the need to speak out on two elements. One is specifically already been addressed by other speakers, but as a parent to young children in the school system, the access that's made available through the schools channel has been critical for me, particularly through COVID and other times, being able to access information through the school channel has been fantastic. Also, as the CIO, another speaker mentioned how we are preparing right now for Folk Festival, which is one of the reasons that the superintendent of police and the chief of the fire department can't be here. Both of them will be submitting separate letters, as all the members of the public are invited to submit any letters of support or questions or anything of that nature to the ascertainment process. But one of the things for police and fire that are critical are all the substations we have out there, all the firehouses, et cetera. All of those locations, along with 70 so locations throughout the city, including all the schools, are interconnected through something commonly referred to as the institutional network, or the INET. This is something that is made available through Comcast and interconnects locations and provides access for public safety, for education, and for school municipal offices to conduct their business, work together, and serve the public good and public interest. Those are things that are critical and that we feel are really important to be continued in the contract.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Fernandez. That has been read into the record. Mr. August, and thank you very much. We want to encourage people, letters and comments, and we'll continue to accept them. I just want to make sure that the public knows the date that we would do that until. Given the fact that the license expires on October 10th of 2023, we want to encourage everybody here in the city of Lowell to send in letters or comments directly to myself. But Mr. August, what would be the appropriate date that we would end accepting those comments, sir?
I would provide another three till the end of August, if that is okay with the city.
Duly noted, sir. So once again, ladies and gentlemen who will be watching this in the future hours and days ahead, till the end of August, we'll be accepting letters and comments, and we encourage our other 115,000 residents to make sure that they reach out to us, let us know what their thoughts and concerns are. It'd be very welcomed information. And Mr. Fernandez, is there anything else that we would need to do at this time?
No, sir, I don't believe so. I defer to Attorney August. Attorney August, is there anything else at this time?
No, I just want to thank the city for being there at every turn to keep this process, at a very high level. And also, I want to thank Comcast. Their representatives have been responsive to us as we're getting into the next stage in terms of working on the document. So moving forward, I thank the city and the city manager and his team and the Comcast representatives, Kerry Morris and Greg Franks, both of the cooperative association partners.
If I may, I'd like to apologize to Ms. Santamand. I didn't realize that you were representing Comcast when you came into the Zoom meeting and had kept you in the waiting room for a bit. You may have missed some of the meeting, but it has been recorded for access online.
Okay, very good, thank you. I was going to ask that question.
Yes, ma'am, my apologies.
No problem, thank you very much.
So once again, not seeing anyone else have come in to speak, we do want to let people know once again in closing here that at the end of August, we encourage everybody to send any type of letters or comments to us so we can make this decision. And at this point in time, if it's okay with everyone here, I'm going to take a motion to end this meeting. Mr. Fernandez, motion to end the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Seconded? Mr. Baldwin? Mr. Baldwin, if he wants to make a comment?
I'm sorry, Mr. Manager, thank you. I would just note for the record that if individuals want to send a letter, that the address would be 375 Merrimack Street, room number 43 for the city manager's office, Lowell, Mass. 01852.
Thank you again, Mr. Baldwin, for that. Appreciate that. And also, you can reach out, email version tomgolden@lowellma.gov. There's a motion on the floor to end the meeting, if that's okay. We got a first.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor? All opposed? Thank you all very much for being here. We appreciate you taking the time. And once again, please make sure that your voice is heard in regards to this situation. Have a good day.